Hello there, my name is Sarah Vanderwall, and today I'm going to tell you about adhesive capsulitis of the shoulder, or frozen shoulder. Frozen shoulder is a condition in which patients begin to develop pain and contractures of the glenohumeral joint. The glenohumeral joint is also known as the shoulder joint, and it's located between the scapula and the humerus. Frozen shoulder is common in middle-aged adults, specifically between the ages of 40 and 70. Excuse me. There are 3 stages of frozen shoulder. The first stage is known as the freezing stage, and that's when the aching feeling begins. This stage can last up to 3 months. After 3 months, this goes into the frozen stage, and that's when loss of motion and occupational performance skills are noticed. The pain causes patients to baby their affected shoulder, so they don't really want to use their shoulder as much, they'll more so use their other shoulder. And this can cause a lot more pain and can cause them to lose different kinds of performance skills that they have with this shoulder. The last stage is the thawing stage, and that's when the patient begins to heal and regain their lost motion. This stage can last from anywhere from 7 to 9 months. Frozen shoulder is typically caused by repetitive movement that forcefully rotates the shoulder medially, or inwards towards the body. The intervention for an injury like this would be based on remedial and compensatory approaches. OTA may be needed to assist the patient with practicing their self-care activities. These self-care activities include things like bathing. So for an example, a patient who has frozen shoulder might need to use one of the longer shoulder scrubbing backwashers, so that way they don't have to reach so far and they don't have to exert their shoulder too much to scrub their back or to scrub their lower legs. Another helpful thing might be lowering their shampoos, their body washes, washcloths, that sort of thing, so they don't have to use their arm to reach so high to grab things that they need in the shower. OTA would also assist in grooming. With grooming, we would need to help with showing the patient how to brush their hair and maybe finding ways that don't use their shoulder quite as much or don't exert their shoulder quite as much, because they're going to have a lot of pain in that shoulder that's affected. Another thing that OTs would help with would be their dressing. Now, with frozen shoulder, there's a lot of pain specifically in the shoulder area, so it might be hard for them to reach up and put their shirt on, and it might also be hard or painful for them to reach down to put their socks on. So something like a grabber might be helpful for putting their shirt on or grabbing their pants and pulling them up, or a sock aid might be helpful in putting their socks on so they don't have to bend over and reach so far to lift those socks up. A grabber would also be helpful for them if they have to reach for anything that's maybe a little high up. And another thing that OTAs could do to help somebody with a frozen shoulder would be to go to their apartment or their home, wherever they may live, and lower things for them that they have to reach for. For example, if their dishes are in a higher cupboard, maybe put them down on the counter so they don't have to reach for them. Or if they have a tendency to put things on top of their fridge, maybe lower things that they need from their fridge, just simple things like that. Another thing that an OTA could do is if this resident has laundry and they do the laundry in their own home, they might not want to carry a basket upstairs because it might be too painful for them. So maybe trying to see if moving their laundry upstairs is an option so they can use a cart with wheels to pull their laundry where they need it to, because pulling their cart with wheels up the stairs might be dangerous for them in more ways than one. When working with a patient who has frozen shoulder, it's important to work on the patient's range of motion using different kinds of exercises and stretching exercises. Excuse me. One of the important aspects of frozen shoulder is that we want to make sure that they're getting their motion back that they've lost, because as I mentioned before, frozen shoulder causes a lot of lost motion from people babying that shoulder. So we want to make sure that we're exercising it, that we're moving it, that we're getting them to use it without causing them a lot of pain, so that way they don't hurt themselves even more. So one of the exercises that you can do with a patient who has frozen shoulder is called an active reaching overhead. And what you're going to do for this is you're going to stand up and start with your hands all the way down to your side. And for this, whatever shoulder is affected, have it be right shoulder, have it be left shoulder. For this, we'll say it's my right shoulder. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your arm and you're going to slowly lift it up, straight up in the air, so that way your shoulder, or your fingers are pointed straight up. See how the pointed straight up, just like that? And you're going to want to hold it there for about 3 seconds. When you feel it stretched, slowly bring it back down to your side. That's going to help to rotate that joint that's in there that's affected, and it's going to help to relieve a little bit of that pain. So the next exercise that we'll do is abduction and adduction. Now for this, you're going to have your arm bent like this at a 90-degree angle, and we'll start at a neutral position. So something like this would be considered a neutral position. Now what you're going to want to do is first, you're going to want to go outward like this. You don't want to go too far because that can hurt your shoulder even more. See how I'm kind of in the middle? And then you're going to want to bring it all the way in so that it's just in front of your stomach. Not necessarily touching your stomach, but just in front of it. And you're going to want to hold on each side for anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds. And that was external and internal rotation, excuse me. Now we'll do abduction and adduction. So for this, you're going to start with your arm straight at your side again, and you're just going to want to lift it up slowly till it's about level with where your shoulder is. Don't go any higher because that can cause a lot more pain. Hold it there for about 5 seconds, and then slowly bring it down again. And you'll want to repeat this a couple times. Just very slowly bringing it up, and then slowly bringing it down, just like that. These exercises are extremely good for helping stretch all those muscles that are in your shoulder and help to get that joint that's in your shoulder moving, because that's one of the biggest things we want to do. We want to avoid losing any more motion that you already have, and we'd like to try to regain more motion, and doing these exercises is the best way to do that. Now, another part of OTA's job is education, because as we all know, we of course can't be with our patients or our clients all the time. And these exercises are things that need to be done all the time throughout the day, or multiple times throughout the day, for them to get better and for them to begin their healing process. So as part of our job, we need to educate our patients, educate them on things that could aggravate their shoulder, educate them on things that maybe they shouldn't be doing, or educate them on things that they should ask for help doing. For example, as I mentioned before, they might need help with putting their hair into a ponytail. For our ladies, we like to have our hair in a ponytail, and if you have a hurt shoulder, it can be hard to get it back up like this so you can put your hair in a ponytail. So maybe having a family friend come over every morning and helping you with your hair might be something that you could consider. Also, we need to make sure that our patients who have frozen shoulder use these exercises every day. And you want to make sure that we educate them on how to use them properly so that they're not causing more damage. You want to make sure that they're educated on not going too far back when they lift their arm up, or going too far over, because that could also damage the shoulder even more. And the goal of this is to help them, is to get them back to where they were before and get them back to doing their occupations that they could do before they had their injured shoulder. So we want to avoid causing any more stress on that joint. Thank you.